Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So getting right into it, I'm starting off with a clear face, and then I'm going to go in with my City Color face primer. I'm just going to go ahead and rub this into the areas where I have the most noticeable pores, which would probably be like where my cheeks are, my nose, my chin, my forehead, and then I'm just going to blend the rest of it into my entire face. Foundation, I'm going in with two foundations just because they don't quite match me yet, but I'm going in with my Max Fix fluid, and I'm just going to go ahead and dot that all over my skin. And then once I've dotted that all over my skin, I'm going to go in with another foundation, which will be my Milani 2-in-1 foundation. I love this foundation because it is so full coverage and it's something that I really want on my big day. Once that's all blended through, I'm going to go in with my Absolute New York concealer. This one is a yellow undertone shade, and I'm just going to use this as my highlight shade. So I'm going to use it under my eyes, my forehead, my chin, under my nose where it's red, and then of course in the center of my nose. And to contour, I'm going to use the LA Girl Velvet Bronze Stick in the shade Suede, and I'm just going to contour my nose and make it as thin as I possibly can. I'm also going to bronze my forehead, underneath my cheeks, you know, where the contour line is, and on my neck. And to blend this all out, I'm going to go ahead and use my Real Techniques Beauty Blender, and I'm just going to blend it all the way through. And then to blend out my contour, I'm going to use my foundation brush that I used before. I like using a foundation brush to blend this bronze out because it really gives you that bronzy, flawless look, and it is such a smooth product that it's really easy to blend with a brush. And if you use a beauty blender, sometimes it can look a little bit patchy. So once that's all blended through, I'm going to go in with another Absolute New York concealer, and this one is on the pinkier side. So this one is really going to correct the blueness and purpleness and scarring that I have under my eyes and my chin and my nose area. So I'm going to go ahead and place that in my problem areas, and instead of using a brush, I'm going to use my fingers. My fingers, because it warms up the product and it doesn't take away from the product, and this is what I really need to conceal on my wedding day. I don't want any scars showing. I want to look like I have the most perfect skin in the world. Set my entire face, I'm going to go in with my LA Girl Pressed Powder in the shade Buff, and I'm just going to place it all over my skin. If you guys can look closely, you can see the sweatiness on my face is totally covered by this powder. It's amazing, and not only that, it's only $5.99. To set my under eyes, I'm going to use my Beauty Blender and the Laura Mercier Translucent Powder. I'm just going to place it under my eyes as well as underneath that contour line I just did. I want to make it a little bit more defined, so this really helps clean it up. And to set that bronzing that I just did with the suede stick, I'm going to use the Butter Bronzer by Physicians Formula and a big fluffy brush, and I'm just going to place it all over my face. This is just adding more color to my skin, making it look more natural and better for pictures, and I'm just going to go ahead and brush away that translucent powder as I bronze my face because I don't want it to sit too long. Just because I love it so much, I'm using my Bobbi Brown bronzer as a blush. I just wanted a more natural look. I should have probably added a little peachy blush, but I went with this instead. I'm going to place it all over my forehead to make it blend correctly and look very natural. I want my face to look like it is just naturally this bronzed. with that same Bobbi Brown bronzer, I'm just going to take a small fluffy brush and contour my nose, but really what I'm doing is just setting that suede stick that I used earlier. But I want it to look very thin in my pictures because I do feel like I have a bigger nose that I don't want to have, so this just really helps and makes me feel more comfortable. For a highlight shade, I'm going in with the LA Girl highlighting stick in the shade Radiance, and I'm just going to place it on my forehead where the light hits my nose, my lip, underneath my lip, as well as the highest points of my cheekbones. The rule is you do not put cream or liquid on top of powder, but here I am doing it, so I'm trying to fix what I did. So by blending that, I'm going to use a brush instead of a beauty blender or anything like that, because again, I don't want anything to be patchy. And moving on to the eyes, I'm going to use the Absolute New York eyeshadow primer. I love this stuff. It's on the affordable side, but it is identical to Urban Decay Primer Potion. So I really like this. I'm just going to blend it out with my finger, and then after I'm done blending it out with my fingers, I'm going to use my beauty blender, and I'm just going to blend through to make sure that there's no extra and there's no room for creasing or possibility for creasing later in the night. Once that's all dried, I'm going to go with my Milani Earthy Elements palette, and I'm going to use their contour shade, which is a soft brown shade. You can use any soft brown shade. I just used this palette because I picked it up at the store a while ago. And I'm just going to take a big fluffy brush, and I'm just going to do, as you may all know, windshield wiper motions, and I'm just going to use this as a transition shade. The reason I use this is because when I apply other colors, it makes it very easy to blend rather than having these harsh, stark lines and making it harder to blend and adding more colors, and it just becomes a big mess. And because I don't have very defined eyelids, I'm going to go in with a color called Sultry in the Nude Tude, the Balm palette, and I'm just going to take a denser brush and place that underneath the transition shade. I don't have very defined eyelids, so by doing this, it makes me feel like I can see my eyelids a little bit more. And working with the same palette, I'm going to go in with a color called Selfish. It's a very gray mauve shimmery shade, and I'm just going to work it on the outer V's of my eyes. I'm not going to do super inside of the V. I'm going to go way on the outside. I'm going to do it in a sideways V shape, and I'm just going to make it a little bit cat-eyed. I don't want it all over the place. I don't want to have to clean it up later. I'm just doing it, and I'm blending and blending and blending until it's the right size and angle that I like. Back into that Milani Earthy Elements palette, and I'm going to use the brown copper bronze shade, and I'm going to do that on the inner V of my eyes. So I have an even denser brush, and I'm working it on the inside. You can see the gradients on the outside, and then I'm going to make it more bronzy on the inside. So once my V's are to my liking, I'm going to go in with the color Specialty in that palette, and I'm just going to take a flat brush and place it on my eyelids. I'm just going to pack it on until it's the color and the density that I like. Because I didn't feel like it was bright enough, I went in back to the Balm palette, and I just got this True Champagne color. It's less pink than the last one I used, so again, I'm just going to pack that onto my eyes until I get the color that I like. lastly, I'm going to go in with that contour shade one more time and that big fluffy brush that I used in the beginning. And I'm just going to kind of blend it out just in case there are any harsh edges or lines that shouldn't be there. And moving on to brows, I'm going to use the LA Girl Cosmetics Brow Kit, and I'm just going to take the wax and place that over my brow hairs. This is going to prevent the hairs from moving, and it's also going to let the eyeshadow stick a lot easier. And if you guys mess up, it's really easy to take off when the wax is on first. Once my brows are all done, I'm going to go in with a brow tint, and I'm just going to go ahead and set them in place so they don't move throughout the day. This brow tint has a little bit of color in it, so I think that really adds to them. I have thick brows, so I don't really need to do much to them, so just adding this gives it a little extra definition. And to make my eyes appear bigger, I'm going to use my Kat Von D liquid eyeliner in the shade Trooper, and I'm just going to make a very thin line. I'm not going too crazy because it is a wedding look. You don't want to have too much eyeliner. You don't want to have a huge wing. You just want something a little subtle. So I'm just using this, and of course I cut myself off, so in the next clip you'll see that both my eyes are done. Going back into that Milani palette, I'm going to take the shade called Crease, and I'm just going to take an angled brush and I'm just going to line my waterline on the bottom. I need a little bit more definition, so I'm going to take a little dense round brush and I'm just going to fluff that out until it matches the top of my eyes. Alright guys, I promise we're almost done. I'm just going to go ahead and curl my lashes and then apply my Max Factor Lengthening Mascara. I think this was a limited edition, so I don't think they sell it anymore, but if you look, you might be able to get your hands on it. Curl and lengthen my lashes with mascara. I'm going to go in with my Ardell Wispy eyelashes. These are my favorite eyelashes just because they're so easy to apply, and if you know me personally, you know that I do not know how to put eyelashes on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this glue, and the cool thing about this glue is that it's white. When you place it on the eyelashes and it starts to dry, it starts to turn blue, like a dark blue. So once it starts turning dark blue, you're able to apply your lashes. I'm going to take this little applicator that I got from Ardell, and I'm just going to get it as close to my lash line as possible, and I'm just going to stick them on really quick, and then I'm going to take some tweezers and place it where they need to be. I got really lucky and I got my eyelashes on the first try. So after I put my eyelashes on and they're all dry, I'm going to take my favorite mascara in the entire world, my Maybelline Sensational Lash Mascara, and I'm just going to really thicken those lashes just so they look very natural. After that, I'm going to go in with my Micro Slim Mascara, and I'm just going to go ahead and lengthen my bottom lashes. Unfortunately, I didn't get to finish this look on camera, so for lips, I just applied some lipstick, and our look is all done. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys like this. If your wedding day is coming up, congratulations, and I hope you guys have a wonderful time.